Hey Internet, it's your old friend Dominic here with the All-American Casino Guide. And you know what? I get asked the same question a lot. Is it more probable that a player gets a flush rather than a three of a kind? Well, statistically the answer is no. And after watching this video, you'll hopefully understand why. And more importantly, you might understand why we have such unique names for hands like Royal Flush. I mean, what is a Royal Flush anyway? Is it like royals using the toilet? We all know that royals are superhuman and don't use the toilet, so I don't know, it can't be that. Or maybe, just maybe, it's referring to some sort of like Hollywood detox program, you know, like they have for celebrities to really clean them out. Well, we'll find out, so stay tuned. So when it comes to poker hands, they increase in rank depending on how rare that particular card combination is. Essentially, the lower the probability of acquiring those 5 cards at random, the higher the card rank is overall. The numbers in suits play a major role in our analysis of the chances of anything winning, so make sure to stick to the very end of the video to get a full detailed explanation. I've went ahead and set up 2 example hands here of a high card combination. One is a queen high and the other is an ace high. If these 2 particular hands would go up against each other, the ace high would win, as the ace is the highest ranked card in the deck. It beats everything in a high card situation at least. If you have 2 players both presenting a high card showdown, then the player with the highest card is going to win, but then in cases of ties, you go to the next card, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and respectively. In a extremely rare situation where both players have the exact same hand, irrelevant of suit, then it will actually be a true split pot. I would never encourage anyone betting on this type of hand unless your aim is to bluff, but sometimes all it really takes to win a hand is an ace, so take your chances. Slightly less likely to be dealt to you than a high card is the pair. The pair is a combination of 2 matching cards of any particular rank that are dealt to you either directly or can be put in a matching combination with cards that happen to be on the table if you happen to be playing a game that has a community pool like Texas Hold'em or Omaha. This is really the second most common card combination you can have, with a probability of 1 in 1.36 and a total number of combinations around 1.1 million. In the example that I provided here, I have 2 pairs, one hand that is a pair of jacks and one that is a pair of eights. Now, if you have 2 players both presenting a pair, the player who has the higher pair is the winner. So in this example, the pair of jacks would be the winner over a pair of eights. But in a situation where both players present a pair, the same pair, so for example, instead of this pair of eights, I had a pair of jacks, I would then compare against the highest card, collectively known as the kicker card, where both cards here we compare is a 10, and then we have to move to the next highest card, which is, in this example, is a 9 versus a 7, so 9 is better than 7. This hand would be the winning hand if these eights were jacks. Next up, we have 2 pair, and this is exactly the same process as 1 pair, but instead you'll need 2 different pairings or sets of the same cards in one hand. The probability of gaining a hand like this is approximately 1 in 20, with a total number of combinations exceeding 120,000. In the example that I've provided below here, I have 2 players with a 2-pair hand. The first player has a pair of jacks and eights, and the second player has a pair of 10s and 7s. When it comes to comparison of 2 pairs, you only compare the top pair to determine who is the winner. So for example, this player wins because they have a pair of jacks, which is superior to a pair of 10s, irrelevant to the fact that they also have a pair of 8s and the other player has a pair of 7s. It doesn't really matter. Now, in a situation where both players have 2 pair and both players' top pair is the same, so for example, jacks and jacks, then you would have to go to the second pair. And if there is another tie for some extremely unlikely event, you then have to compare the second pair. So you have, pair of 8s versus a pair of 7s. Now, if those are the same, then it comes down to the kicker card, the fifth card that is unmatched with any of the other cards. So a 9 is better than a 4. In the extremely super unlikely event that all 5 cards are exactly the same, it goes down to a split pot. Next up, we have the three of a kind, and this is where I think things get really interesting. This happens when you have three of a particular rank of card and two other non-matching cards. The probability of scoring this particular hand at random is around 1 in 46, and there's a total number of about 55,000 different card combinations in a 52 card deck that could result in this kind of hand. So in the example that I provided you here, I have two players, one presenting 3 8s and the other one presenting 3 7s. Both are examples of three of a kind, but of course, if these two players came into a showdown with each other, the player with 3 8s would beat the player with 3 7s because 8 is clearly a higher ranked card. Now, in community-based games like Texas Hold'em or Omaha, it is statistically possible that you and your opponent could both have the same three of a kind. In those situations, you start comparing the kicker cards, the two cards that are not associated with the three of a kind. So for this example, the 10 and the 2, or the queen and the jack. So it goes down to whichever player has the higher ranking kicker cards. But again, that only comes into play if you and your opponent have the same ranked three of a kind. In the highly unlikely event that you and your opponent have the exact same 5 cards, it's unfortunately going to be a split pot. Next up, we have the straight, which is a really interesting hand because I feel that the straight is really where you move into the realm of top tier hands. Obviously, you can win a hand with even a high card, okay? It doesn't matter what you have, you can win at the showdown with it if nobody has anything better. But I really feel that when you have a straight or better, you've moved into the areas of hand rank that you can really be aggressive because there's not really a high probability that anybody has a better hand. You probably are holding the nuts if you have a straight, though I've seen plenty of straights beat out by a flush. Anecdotally, I also want to mention that just based on the millions of hands I've observed over the years of Omaha and even Texas Hold'em, specifically within the game of Texas Hold'em, that I've noticed that flushes, again, this is anecdotally, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of people disagree with me in the comments section because it doesn't support the math. Anecdotally speaking, straights happen less frequently in Omaha and in Texas Hold'em than flushes. Flushes happen far more often than they should, mathematically speaking. That's just my own personal experience. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who out there who would say, you know, 4 of a kind happens far too often mathematically within the game of Texas Hold'em. But anyway, to create a straight, you need to have 5 cards that are arranged in numerical order. So these 2 hands that I prepared for you, I have a jack high straight, so 7, 8, 9, 10 jack, and a queen high straight, 8, 9, 10 jack queen. Now, when it comes down to comparing 2 respective straights against each other, the winner is always the player who has the higher ranked straight. So in this example that I provided, the queen high straight is the winner. What's different about straights versus any other hand that I've talked about so far is that if you happen to be tied up and both have an equal ranked straight, then it's automatically going to be a split pot. Because you both have the exact same 5 cards. There's no need to compare. If you both have a jack high straight, it's a split pot. Now, the probability of getting a straight is actually rather high when you think about it. It's 1 in 253, and there's actually about 10,000 possible straight combinations in a 52 card deck. So as I've already said, the next highest rank is the flush. Now you can gain a flush when you have 5 cards of the same suit. They don't have to be in numerical order, and in fact, if they were in numerical order, it would be a completely different hand rank altogether. But essentially, if you have 5 diamonds, 5 clubs, 5 hearts, 5 spades, you have a flush. The probability of scoring a flush is around 1 in every 508 hands, and there are a total of 5,000 unique flush combinations. Now, in the example that I provided here on the board, I have 2 players, each presenting a flush. This one with a jack high flush, a spade flush, and a 10 high flush of diamonds. So in cases where you have 2 players both presenting a flush, it boils down to whichever player has the higher ranking card, pretty much like every single hand I've talked about so far. So for this example, the player with the jack high flush beats out the player with the 10 high flush. In a very unique specialized scenario where you and your opponent both have the exact same flush, then it would come down to a split pot. But that's assuming that all 5 of your cards are exactly the same, because once you determine that you've tied on the highest ranking card, you move down as you do with all these hands I've talked about so far. Next up, we have my favorite hand, the full house. I don't really know why it's my favorite. I just kind of like how it looks. And granted, it is a rather high-ranking hand. A full house is formed by having 3 of a kind and an additional pair. So for example, you could have 3 sevens and a pair of 2s, or any sort of combination there on in. The probability of being dealt a full house at random is 1 in 693, and in the deck there are about 3,700 different combinations resulting in a full house. Now, in this example that I provided for you, I have 2 players with full houses. This one has 5s over 8s, and this player has 10s over 6s. Now, when it comes time to compare these 2 respective hands, you always compare the 3 of a kind first. So 3 10s is better than 3 5s. This hand is better, even though 8s are technically better than 6s. It's not like a weird thing where you like add up the ranks or something like that. In community-based games like Omaha or Texas Hold'em, it is possible for you and your opponent to both have the same 3 of a kind and both have a full house. If that happens, then you have to compare your secondary pair, the lone pair sitting on the side, and whichever player has the higher ranked pair, in addition to the 3 of a kind, is the winner. And again, in those very strange situations that this happens, where all 5 cards are exactly the same, that will be a split pot. And nobody likes that. It's like kissing your sister. Next up, we have the Mac Daddy of poker hands, and that is the 4 of a kind. It's called 4 of a kind for the exact reason you think. It's because you have 4 of a particular rank of card. Could be, for example, 4 2s, 4 5s, 4 7s, 4 jacks. It's irrelevant, really. What matters is that you have 4 of them, and the probability of being dealt this at random is about 1 in 4,164, with a total number of combinations coming in at about 625. When it comes down to comparing the 2 hands, I have a 4 5s with an 8 kicker and 4 10s with a jack kicker for your comparison. It always boils down to whichever player has the higher ranked 4 of a kind. So 4 10s is always going to beat 4 5s, and pretty much beats any 4 of a kind except for 4 jacks, 4 queens, 4 kings, or 4 aces, which of course is the best 4 of a kind you could possibly have. In games, community games like Omaha or Texas Hold'em, it is technically possible, though statistically unlikely, that you and an opponent would both have 4 of a kind. And in those cases, it comes down to which player has the best kicker card. And that's why I always say, sometimes to win, all it takes is an ace. So now, as we continue towards the apex of the hierarchy of hands, we set our sights on the straight flush. Now, the straight flush is a very fascinating hand because it requires you to have 5 cards that are all of the same rank and in scaling order with each other. So for example, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of clubs. If you have this kind of hand, my recommendation for you is to play slow, play smart, and try to maximize your winnings, because you are holding a monster of a hand, a Godzilla of a hand. And the probability of getting a straight flush out of 5 cards is 1 in 72,000. And there are only 36 unique 5-card hand combinations that actually result in a straight flush. The examples that I provided for you here is I have one player with an 8 high straight flush and the other with a jack high straight flush, diamonds and clubs respectively. Just like any hand in poker, it always boils down to whichever player has the higher ranking hand. So even if both players have straight flushes, which I would think is an incredibly unlikely event, you have the player who has the jack in this example winning because jack is higher ranked than 8. In the strange, unbelievable chance of it happening that you and your opponent both have a straight flush and they are of the same rank, it is a split pot. But at that point, my recommendation for you is to go buy a lottery ticket, because today the impossible is possible. So now it's time to talk about the strongest hand you could possibly have in poker, and that is of course the royal flush. In order to obtain a royal flush, you need to be holding a straight flush first, but not just any straight flush, but an ace high straight flush. So ace, king, queen, jack 10, all of the same suit. This is extremely rare, and I have never witnessed in my entire life anybody actually lay one down at a poker table. But I have myself gotten one at a video poker machine. But before you get too excited for me and think that I must be some really wealthy or super lucky guy, it was a penny slot machine and I won about 600 bucks. Regardless, this means that if you do have a royal flush, there is no hand at the table that could possibly compete against you. That's of course other than another royal flush. It's like a ninja going up against another ninja. And the likelihood of you seeing another royal flush when you yourself are holding a royal flush is somewhere around the probability of your dog writing Shakespeare. The probability of getting a royal flush in the first place is 1 in 649,737, and there are only 4 unique possible hand combinations that can produce it. So for it to happen twice in a single hand of poker, or even twice on a poker table within a year's time, is astronomically improbable. So here at the table, I've laid out 2 examples of royal flushes, and I must say, if you ever see such a beautiful combination of cards in your life, count yourself truly lucky. All right, guys, sadly that concludes my explanation of possible poker hands. I really hope you've learned something today. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to leave them as a comment down below. Guys, do us a big favor, clickety-clack that like button, pound that big red subscribe button, ring-a-ding-ding that notification bell, and make sweet, sweet love to that share button. My name's Dominic. This has been the All-American Casino Guide, wishing you luck and reminding you as always, play responsibly.